Hello, Knights of the Roll Table, and thank you for listening. Our team has delved deep into the darkest depths of Mount Cambion. Oliver has presumably just leapt down into what appears to be a dragon's lair. Let's see how they handle it. But before that, thank you, everybody. Hope you're having a great holiday season. We really appreciate you listening. So much has happened in our little world and out in our real world lately. We just hope you're doing great and taking care of one another and having a great time. So enjoy this episode. It's time to fight a dragon, y'all. Now take care of yourself, take care of each other, and make life an adventure. All right, so Oliver has jumped down into this very massive area. It's pretty dark in there, but there's enough light to see that you're in like a Colosseum-sized cavern deep in the mountain. It is filled with one giant pile and one very small pile of assorted treasure. The giant pile does have a moonbeam sort of shaft of light cast down, but where it's hitting the ground is kind of over the crest of the hill. So you can't quite see where it lands. The small pile is a result of all the treasure from the mimic monster falling through the ceiling. And so that's where Oliver is standing. And in between those two islands is a lot of what has its own kind of distinct feel, the like kind of fog mist, very thick mist that you've encountered before with this spell. The rest of you are all looking down at Oliver. Tiburon is in haste mode, and Sarsa has spirit guardians going. I believe Branch is a bat.
Correct.
Oliver kind of like hops down there, and definitely everybody braces like,
"It's okay, I use slow fall. It's fine. You should come down here. This is definitely where we need to be."
I will fly down and land on Oliver's shoulder, which I assume is a thing that bats can do.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, little bat person.
Hi.
I'd like to use my rope.
Sarsa's rope responds to that and like shoots out of the bag on its own and ties itself and drops itself down.
I'll just hold it. Like it'll drop down and I'll kind of hold the other end to brace it, so it's a nice like.
She kind of rappels down, but it's got a little bit of an Errol Flynn, like haha quality to it.
Mm. All right, look out for the bag of trash. I'm just gonna throw the bag of trash down first. It's a very wet thump that it. And then Randall.
Tiburon jumps last and does his best to avoid crushing Randall.
All right, it's a pretty far descent, so you need a little bit of probably like aid of Sarsa's rope on the way down, but you can both make it down safely. So you've got some effects going on from the mimic fight. Landing in this layer, there's kind of moments of like, are we going to get attacked immediately by something giant? And it doesn't seem like it. It stays relatively quiet. If you're all kind of like stand still for a second, you hear not a lot. It's easy to echo. If anybody moves even slightly, the like treasure and metal under your feet makes a really loud kind of like echoey noise around the chamber. So if anything's in there, it definitely knows something, especially because of the giant rain of treasure that just happens. Something in here would definitely know, but it doesn't seem like anything's stirring.
Yeah, I figure like all the treasure falling down and me coming down and everything like that.
Sure. But nothing seems to happen now, so you could kind of surge forward with the haste and the spirit guardians kind of in place. I'll say, just so we don't have to kind of like worry about seconds passing, if you want to kind of like continue to keep those active, we could say just like half the time on those has elapsed, or if you wanted to try to take a short rest, you could do that.
In my experience, it's in places like these where it seems to be the end of the proverbial journey. it might be beneficial for us to try to press on. But what do you think?
So some rest would be very nice.
Oh, rest. Okay, good. Sure. Well, if that's what you think, probably should have done that up there. But
Well, we could go back up the rope.
should we go back up?
Yeah, let's go back up the rope.
Fly back up, Bat.
Flap, 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 flap.
Sarsa, we're going to fly. We're going to climb.
Why can't we just rest right down here?
Here, I'll carry you, Sarsa. No, I can't do that. I can't climb with one hand. I'm quite agile, but I am not able to do that. That's
It's just a short rest, all right? We can take turns keeping an eye out. Just take a moment, patch your wounds, and then we'll be moving along.
Should I come back down now?
Yes, come back down, Branch.
Flap, flap.
Oh, actually, Branch, I left something up there. Could you go back up?
Sure. What did you leave?
All right, with a lot of ups and downs and elevations, we'll say whatever level you're on, and in a quite a tense, definitely like staying on guard and keeping an eye out, you're able to kind of do the activities of a short rest, and that means haste and spirit guardians are done, but also the exhaustion of the haste will be erased. You can patch up some hit points or whatever as you need to, and anything else that resets on a short rest. And
I'm going to go ahead and stop being a bat while we're in there as well.
Poof, Branch's branch. And so there you are. You're on this like little island of treasure, a little bit rested.
I'll use some hit dice and Song of Rest to
Boost
get back some
everybody?
hit
Okay.
points here. Yeah.
Song of Rest gives everybody the full cost of hit dice. What does it do?
If you spend a hit dice, you get an extra 1d6.
Thanks to Randall's charming, soothing, dulcet tones. Okay. So you're on this little island. There's kind of a moat of fog that you'll need to get across one way or another. The fog is pretty far. It's maybe kind of like 30 feet of distance that you need to cross to get to the big mountain of treasure, and you don't really know how deep it is.
Let's rope across.
You are definitely aware that, like, in the past, like when you rescued Kilani 1,000 years ago, that there was traps and things hidden in the fog. So you're definitely looking at it a little cautiously.
Is it far enough to throw something across?
30 feet, so yeah.
All right. Randall's going to take out some broken pieces of like a TV antenna, and he's going to like kind of bend them back to make like a grappling hook, and he's going to tie Sarsa's rope to the other side. He's going to throw it across to try and make something we could shimmy across.
All right, roll survival maybe. I'm just going to, survival for you.
Here, guidance. Have some guidance.
17.
Cool.
Ding, 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 ding.
So sure, you like toss that across, you make it, and it hooks on something solid enough. It kind of like cuts into the treasure and gets hooked on something big enough to hold it, a chest or something with a
Ark of the
a
Covenant,
big cup, whatever. It seems to be fairly secure. Also helped by the fact that like it's a magic rope. So I think the rope is slightly offended that you added this other stuff to it when it could just handle it on its own one way or another. But those two things together will create a line that's pretty secure. I would say it's not super far above the fog, maybe like 6 feet. Well, you wouldn't have anything to secure it on your side. So there's a matter of like, you've got like a line you can pull yourself across with, but it's not necessarily going to translate into not touching the fog, which might be fine.
Okay, hold on.
Branch can hold the rope and you can all cross, and then Branch can fly over. But Branch is not very big.
Okay, but remember, I can't go with Tiburon, and Tiburon can't go with Sarsa. And
that's right.
Okay, so the farmer has to go first.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
Because if Tiburon goes with Randall, Tiburon would eat Randall, and so that we've got to keep them separate.
Do it. Sorry, mate.
So you're going to just kind of shimmy across the rope?
Yeah.
I could use my gust of wind, but it'll be a lot of wind. Is that even helpful at all to try and disperse the fog, or do we just want to work our way through it?
Well, I think so. Just to let us know if there's any, traps or bogies or gremlins or ghoulies or spikes or pits or sticky things or oozes or kobolds or...
All right, while they work through that, Sarsa, do you want to do Gust of Wind or not? You have had success moving the fog away with that, although it doesn't disperse.
I will cast that, and I will move myself towards the front so that I can relay if I see anything.
So you cast Gust of Wind and kind of point it down into the fog. It disperses the fog. It also is strong enough to blow some coins around, make a lot of noise. To get through that channel, people are going to have to be in that kind of wind tunnel, or the fog is going to kind of come back in. So whether we send Sarsa first, or, I mean, they could just hold on to the rope, but we'll have to figure that out. But one particular thing that is a little bit weird about when you cast Gust of Wind into the fog, it doesn't reveal any like pit traps or spike traps or anything you would have been walking into, but the fog itself doesn't quite disperse normally. It doesn't kind of roll back. Normally, you all kind of independently have a sense of small humanoid shapes in the fog. Like as it blows back for just a second, you'll see kind of the outline of a kind of small humanoid shape, and then that blows back, and it's almost like, did I see that? But you all kind of had similar experiences of that.
Do we think that could be more kobolds?
It could be a gremlin.
Tiburon, roll nature.
All right. I believe I roll with a disadvantage.
Nature, investigation, whatever.
Exhausted.
Are you exhausted?
Well,
No, you
we
rested.
rested
After a short rest?
after haste, but long rests remove exhaustion, not short rests.
But exhaustion from haste
Damn.
only lasts like a minute.
Oh, is that accurate?
It's not I don't think it's a point of exhaustion.
I see. It's just exhaustion for some amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
From like coming down off of the high of being.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, in haste terms, like if you're in the middle of a battle when haste runs off,
It's not good.
That's a minute is plenty to screw you over,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to
It's
last
like
all
the
day.
5th hour after the 4-hour energy that you drink. Yeah,
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, nature. Here we go.
Oh, you can have some guidance with that. Add a D4.
Yeah, D4, baby.
It's so rare that I'm not in animal form that I'm going to use my spells while I can.
That brings it to 16.
Yeah, I mean, the thought of like, are those kobolds? Like they're in the fog, but like, yeah, that does kind of like line up, and like thinking about that, as you glimpse these shapes with the gust moving a little bit, you can kind of make out tails and snouts, and like it does kind of seem there are the forms of kobolds in this fog.
Best be ready for an ambush. Kobolds about.
Hey, Soot, is that you? Hey, Soot, are you in the fog?
It is no answer.
Yeah.
All right, so how are we casting this thing? It's a wind tunnel with a rope in it, and the wind originates with Sarsa. And you're not really feeling like you want to mess too much with this fog at this point.
I told you the going over it plan is the best.
How far is the gap from one stable side to another?
About 30 feet. It has the rope in place, and also the gust of wind has cleared out the fog. So there's kind of a parted Red Sea sort of situation you can jump into, but you're just going to have to brace yourself for the gust of wind as you cross it. You can grab onto the rope or whatever. Mr. Ropey will help you. Did we give another name to the rope?
Professor Ropes Esquire.
He's a lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
Ropashon.
Rope Paul.
Ouch. All right.
Because sometimes it drags you.
Get into the smoke.
Drags you along.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. How are we using it?
Oh, no.
Rope also
I
drag
only came here
players.
for the wordplay. Don't make me try to strategize this.
It's going to be a long night if we can't cross this channel. Empty moat, you guys.
He
Let's
said
push
it's
forward.
empty. That's canon now. Let's walk through. All right, let's shimmy it. Sarsa, hit it with the blast, and then we're going to all shimmy across.
Right. So Sarsa hits the channel with a gust of wind 60 feet out. Big gale
Okay.
storm of wind. Sounds like a really big giant fart.
Oh, no.
The visual question here is the gust of wind's coming from Sarsa. So is everybody going in front of Sarsa?
Yeah.
Leaving her at the end? Okay,
Yeah,
so
and then
you'll
she'll
jump
go
in,
last.
and then Sarsa,
Yeah.
you can kind of do whatever you can to try to not kind of get overtaken in the fog. But everybody make a dex check for jumping into this windstorm with coins flying around and stuff.
Natural 20.
Oh, Oliver's
13.
fine. Randall, 13.
3.
Randall, you get hit. Ooh, okay.
15.
Wait, do I have to roll if it's
15.
my wind?
Not necessarily, but we'll hold on to that for something. Tiburon, what'd you get?
4.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. So I think most of you are fine. Oliver is like very dexterous. He does kind of like an Olympic triple jump, and he's like on the other side before you know it. The rest of you a little bit clumsier, but with the aid of so Branch and Randall a little bit clumsier, but with the aid of the rope and stuff, you're able to get by. Tiburon, you're walking through and seems perfectly fine. And then like a chalice hits you square in the temple, blown around in the wind, and so take 1 point of bludgeoning damage for the chalice hit. You can keep the chalice if you want, though. And that leaves you, Sarsa. That dex check doesn't necessarily... Well, unless you do something dexterous, I guess. How do you want to kind of like use the gust of wind to get yourself across here?
I mean, see, if I did what I actually wanted to do, I probably would need a dex check.
Do it.
But okay, so I'm gonna try to like basically like I've got it going out in front of me. And I'm gonna try to basically swing my arm down so that it basically gives me almost like Iron Man push off from my hands to like yeet me across.
To like launch you across acrobatically.
Yeah, definitely that way because I rolled so good. Let's go to there.
That's epic. I love it. That's exactly what I was envisioning, kind of airbendering the thing, but it doesn't quite propel you as exactly as you imagined. So like it looks pretty, like the first half of it seems pretty epic and like, wow, she can basically fly with this gust of wind thing. She just has to point it down and she can fly around. But that would be very similar to like Iron Man figuring out how the Iron Man suit works. Like in the first Iron Man, he's like trying to fly and he keeps crashing. So basically you get to that point real fast. This is not a functional flight form. So like you're up over it, you lose balance, and you end up like flat on your back, maybe 5 feet in, close to everybody. But 5 feet in, that breaks your concentration. The gust of wind goes away. Fog is closing in quickly on you. Sarsa is prone. What do y'all want to do? Just 5 feet away, you guys. What do you want to do?
I will help her. Wait, don't we have the rope?
You do.
Leave her behind.
Throw
It's
the
too
rope
late.
to-
I'll reach my staff down to her and try to pull her up. It's got to reach. I got to reach an extra like 6 feet. Grab onto the staff.
Give me a quick strength check for that.
Right.
Or dex. It's fine.
It's a 17.
Great, that will work. So he extends that staff real quickly. You're able to grab onto it, Sarsa, and he sort of like yanks you / flips you out. I would say the fog is just closing in and just kind of like catches your calves / ankles, and you have a little sense of like something grabbing onto you and trying to pull you back in, but it doesn't catch you. Like it definitely like something yanked the way fog doesn't yank at you, but you are free and clear.
We made it. Good. Excellent. All right, everyone be alert.
So you're kind of looking up at this mountain of treasure that is off to one side of this like giant Colosseum size space. It's probably at least 100 feet up at the highest point of the cavern and maybe 200 feet across or more.
And it's all just filled with treasure.
So you're looking at the dimensions of this Colosseum. You would guess it's about 100 feet high at the highest point. It's maybe 300 feet wide, and the mountain that you're on, the like circumference of it is probably 150 feet. So it takes up a good portion of this chamber, maybe half of it. So,
Gotcha.
And it is kind of like a big pile. So you're looking up this pile of treasure. It's very much like Scrooge McDuck's money bin. There's like treasure everywhere, and he's good at navigating it, but nobody else could. I love that kind of like running a DuckTales joke. So like climbing up this like pile of treasure has the effect of like climbing in loose dirt or snow or something. Like it kind of gives every time you try to take a step up. And you have
This
to
is
sort
a
of shimmy
very large hoard. I've seen a few treasure piles in my day, but I've never seen one like this. This could stimulate the economy of the local township or country quite a bit.
Who would keep all this junk?
Well, we would distribute it to all of those in need from those affected by the war against the elites.
So are you saying we should take some of the treasure?
Well, first things first, let's win the battle. Let's get back your friend. And
Gravely's the real treasure.
Agreed.
who are you? I thought trash was your treasure, Randall.
It is just like friendships. Friendships to me are trash.
That's very sweet.
The highest compliment I could give. All right, let's get him.
You work your way up this pile, and sure enough, on the other side, you see that the shaft of light cast down does illuminate a little chamber where you see Gravely's form. Doesn't respond, looks unconscious. It's just sort of floating there, close to the ground in this shaft of light.
Is that your friend? Is that Gravely?
I think so.
Gravely, you find yourself in a cozy spot. You're in a bit of a foggy state. You don't have a strong sense of how you get there, but it's nice and it's pleasant, and you kind of recognize this is a spot you spent a fair amount of time with Farah in, back on the road between Giacca and Oakhart, a little cottage the two of you stayed in for a while. And it's nice, and there's a fire going on in the hearth. There's some snacks and drinks laid out.
Lots
I
of
imagine
vegetables.
some vegetables. Yeah.
That's kind of the pitch. I was like, well, I don't mind moving in with you and getting to know you better and everything, but I would really like to retire from all this business and maybe like start a vegetable farm. And I guess it's just a farm, but specifically for vegetables. But and so they kind of did that, but then before all of that could kind of start happening, he got pulled away to start doing more missions with the Knights. So I imagine that's kind of his kind of safe place in his mind.
When things are tough, he kind of thinks back to one day
Yeah.
we'll get back there to the vegetable farm in Farah.
Yeah, he never really had a home growing up. Like, he was moving around a lot. He kind of, went to Valentrell at an early age with Dreadex, and that never really felt like home. It was just a job. So like everything was kind of on the move. So that was the first place that was kind of like potentially he was looking forward to settling in and maybe like building this relationship and doing something other than adventuring and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm a little where am I? Like, I think he's kind of just thinking like he doesn't really know what's going on, and it's very dreamlike.
Yeah, you have some moments of contentment, and then the door to the cottage sort of slowly swings open, and a person that, again, in your fog, you're like, I kind of recognize that guy, but you don't immediately land on it. The person walks in, and it's John Fletcher.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Gravely. May I come in?
Sure, there's some cucumbers and carrots on the counter if you want some. We might have a little bit of wine or perhaps some mead.
Oh, that's
Water.
quite all right. Did you grow these yourself?
Well, it's sort of a test batch. We're testing the soil. Well, I'm sorry. Who are you?
Yeah, it's probably rather confusing. My name is John Fletcher. We met recently. Do you mind if I have a seat here?
Oh, yes, of course.
And he sits down with you. And as he says his name, it sort of brings back, kind of like trying to remember a dream, sort of like, wait, I have some images. You sort of have some glimpses of the fight, some glimpses
You were in a castle far away from here. Some of my friends were there, I think. But you're not who you say you are.
Well, I'm
All I remember was everything was backwards and wrong. And then there was a lot of fog and smoke, I think.
yes, Gravely, I'm let me just start with this. I'm terribly sorry this happened to you. I did my best to warn you and your friends, but none of you deserved it. But here we are. We'll have to make the most of it. And that sort of brings you back to like enough of the details of like, oh yeah, we fought him. And you sort of like it. You get the glimpses of your sort of last memories of you turning into fog, the way you had just watched him turn.
Am I dead? Is this a great afterlife or something else?
Well, no, you're not dead. You're here with me, and well, it's a bit of a complicated situation. We do have some time to talk about it, so we can certainly work that out.
Well, you said that you tried to warn us, but why were we? Why did we have to fight you in the first place? If you didn't want us to fight, then if you were doing the wrong thing, why not just turn yourself in or stop?
You know, since arriving here, I've had some thoughts about that myself. Some clarity I hadn't experienced in a while, but all in all, I'm just a person who will do literally anything to protect his family and not lose more than he's already lost, and you're a bit of collateral damage to that. Although I feel bad for what happened, I am and always have been willing to do whatever it takes.
I know what I signed up for. I know what the risk was. But I don't think anyone in this entire world, in all of the realms, wouldn't do anything to protect their family. You're not unique in that situation, Mr. Fletcher, and if you don't mind me saying so, I think just your desperation has caused your opportunities and the different things that you can do maybe to cloud your judgment. Perhaps if you came to the Knights in the first place, we might have been able to figure out another way to solve your problem. I mean...
Well, I think you're right. My desires aren't as unique as others, and I simply found myself in a position of having the power to do more about it than most of us in these times have been able to.
Well, power ultimately corrupts. I've seen it again and again.
Yes, I've been thinking about that too, but before we get to that, why don't we get to know each other for a bit? If you don't mind, I don't want to be... I barely know anything about you. How did you come to be where you are?
It's been a while for me, but yes, that's him. I'm sure of it.
It looks like him. Let's go get him.
Let's be careful, though. We all remember what happened with the last moonbeam.
Branch was not at that one. What happened?
Bad things, Branch.
Well, it was over 1,000 years ago, you see. My lady fair at the time, we hadn't confessed our feelings to each other, and
Randall's going to reach in and grab Gravely. All right, we get it, old man. Let me get Gravely.
So, as Oliver gets into a good retelling of his...
He kneels down and is talking to Branch.
So,
She's like, this is how it is. Let me tell you. And everybody else kind of walks.
Meanwhile, Randall just walks over, reaches into Gravely, and as soon as you reach into the shaft of light, it very much... You were able to do that with Keelani, but this rejects you very strongly, electrical charge. Both you feel sort of that kind of electrical shock, and it also sort of throws you back. It might not have literally been electrical, but it feels like that.
Randall, are you all right?
Yeah.
You can't just reach in like that. We have to use some sort of prodding force or something to push him through.
The rope. Professor Ropey. Esquire, go! Wow. Throw the. Is it like a little snake? Like it kind of like pops up and like nods its head and like can nuzzle up to you.
Is what a
It's
little
the
snake?
rope,
The
yeah.
rope?
It's
like a
not
little animated
sentient,
snake.
but
Yeah,
it will
sure.
follow. Like you can say, tie a knot, and it'll tie a knot. But it doesn't go like, no, yes. Or it's not a little sentient like friend. It just kind of follows single actions.
What if we made it a little smarter and then it could like construct itself into like cursive? And it'd be like, how are you, Ropey? And it'd be like, good.
All right, I got distracted in something. We went off the rails again. So going back, Randall got electrocuted. That's where we're picking up from, because at that exact same moment, there is a massive rumbling, both physically and the sound of rumbling and also physically rumbling. Most of the mountain of treasure you're standing on starts to give way and move around. And so the whole like sort of top half of this mountain, the treasure starts rolling off.
Stand fast, everyone!
All right.
I think the first thing you probably see is some kind of like very massive head followed by giant wings unfurling and throwing off a lot more treasure. And very soon you are no doubt looking at a just a gargantuan sized dragon. But this is definitely the dragon that has been dead for 100 years or so, because it looks decomposed. It looks decayed. In the decomposed parts, you can see it's been reconstituted. It's like coming back together. Like part of this dragon is like old decomposed dragon, and part of it is something kind of like new and being restored. But whatever it is, it's giant and it's awakening and unhappy with you. So let's roll initiative.
Cambionatrix, I presume? Well, I'm... suppose it's no harm. I'm not going anywhere. I feel like I can't really escape from this, but... Well, I don't really remember my parents. I was an orphan, and I was taken in by some gentle halflings. I was raised basically as a halfling. And I knew I was different. I knew that I didn't... I knew I wasn't part of their species, and I was even given a halfling name. But I knew that...
Is that the name you use now or a different name?
No, it's a different name. Only my halfling parents call me by the name that they gave.
Would you prefer to keep that to yourself?
I don't feel like telling you.
Understandable.
But I told them when I was old enough, I wanted to make the most of my life and try to do something worthwhile. I'd always liked travel and finding things, so I made my way to Valentrail and was quickly shunted to the underground, where I became part of a Black Ops delivery service, and I was, put into the mailroom, so to speak, and then given the chance to start a fresh organization, a branch in a faraway place, and that's kind of where I ran into some folks along the way, and I suppose you could say we had our first adventure in Oakhart.
That is quite a winding trail of a story. I was not expecting that. The Black Ops delivery service and such.
Yes, I wasn't that crazy about working for them. It was a bunch of shady characters, and I didn't quite feel like I fit in. Even, I guess I never really fit in. But then there were a few people that were helped me out. Garfield, even though he didn't really trust me that much, but he did give me some chances, and at least he just kept it business. And then there was Farah, who she was always nice to me.
Who's Farah?
Farah is a halfling that worked in Dreadex, and she would hand out payments and, little bags of silver and gold for jobs well done. And every time she saw me, she always smiled. I thought she was just maybe, invoking pity on me, but she turned out she was just a genuinely nice person. I guess she didn't have a great background either, because I always wondered, why would a halfling be under the underground with a bunch of, dragonborn and goblins and orcs and kobolds and people that were trying to avoid the normal society of humans and elves and dwarfs. But she was down there with the rest of us. She didn't want to be seen. She didn't fit in either, so I guess we became friends. And then I didn't see her for a while, and then we met up again in Giaca, near the sea.
Oh yes, I've heard of Giaca.
Yes, there was quite a skirmish there as well. Big sea monster. Titans fought each other.
You were there for that?
Yes.
And so was this Farah?
Not because of Farah. I was there with the knights, and we ended up having a bit of a skirmish with the person that took over the sea crown. That's all very confusing. I don't know. Some sort of person came out of the sea, and then there was another ranger that worked for Dread. No, not a ranger. There was another ranger, Bashir, but he was just working for. There was this guy Drop Off who, I guess, arranged the whole thing, and then he killed the guy with the crown, took the crown, and he was in charge of the whole thing. It was a whole thing. But we went into, I think, the water realm through a ship, and had a big fight. There was a Hydra, and he was an assassin, but ended up winning. Shot him in the face, and
Nice.
Something like that. I shot him with one of my arrows, and then after that, kind of calmed down a little bit until great turmoil. So,
and this Farah was there for that?
She was with the refugees from Giaca after the tidal wave, but survived. And after the battle, we found a small place I guess this place, but it's not this place.
Oh.
That's what this is. Well, we were going to start a vegetable farm, but I got called away. And when the tattoo calls, you have to answer. I guess you don't have to, but I feel like I was needed, and it's a nice feeling.
So initiative has been rolled, and we have a very, very high set of rolls from our heroes. So Oliver is going to start with 23. Yeah. So this thing is just emerging and standing up. It's still in that process, but you can fully see it. It hasn't fully unfurled, but it's going to be 20 or 30 feet tall at least. And so what do you want to do?
So if we're still kind of on it or nearby enough where it's kind of coming out of the treasure and whatnot, I think Oliver's first reaction is he's going to try to run for the head so he could be on the head. You know what I mean? So if it's coming up, he's just going to be cool, I'm going to run and then get on the head. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Either by running up its spine or running up and jumping on the neck.
Yeah, I think that the head emerged first. It's already pretty high, but give me a dexterity check or acrobatics check to see what you can do to get up there.
21.
That'll do it. You're able to bounce off, grab onto maybe an emerging shoulder and something, and pole vault yourself up to the neck. I would say you end up midway up the neck.
All right.
And sort of hanging on because it's moving a lot. And so you're not quite secure to keep running.
All right. See how you like this. Just as I'm hanging on, he's going to flail his legs out and then just kind of do this leg maneuver where I'm just gonna like slam in like bucking a horse with my leg. So I'm gonna do 2 attacks, unarmed strike, but with my leg, just just like bam, bam.
All right.
14 and 19.
So you land those, but neither one does too much damage. Doesn't seem.
But
I mean, a lesser creature would be injured by those, but the armor of this creature doesn't seem to have been
all right, did it
injured.
hit?
No. Its AC is higher than that. So I mean, like you're physically like hitting it, but its armor is resisting your damage.
Gotcha. Okay. I will do a flurry of blows and try again 2 more times.
Okay. You gonna kick it again or try
I'm
something else?
kicking, baby. 27.
Wow, that'll do it. Maybe the first kick loosens something up, but you definitely.
And second one is going to be 21.
That will not do it.
Okay.
27 hits.
So 27 right in the windpipe, 13 bludgeoning damage, and I'm going to use another key point. Stunning strike. Con save. DC 18. Worth a shot.
It has pretty good con, so it does resist that.
All right.
Your con save for stunning strike is DC 18.
Yeah.
That is formidable.
Yeah.
But the dragon resisted it.
I'm hanging
You've
on.
done a little bit of damage. Next up, we have also with a very good initiative roll, Tiburon.
Well, Oliver has inspired Tiburon to directly attack this son of a gun. So I'll go ahead and cast Expeditious Retreat as a bonus action. So that'll allow me, with some concentration, to use Dash as a bonus action. And
Nice.
Tiburon will go ahead and run, rather than head on into the neck, try and run around the dragon, maybe try and get into the tail area or the haunches area and try and climb up or attack over there.
Give me similarly a dexterity roll to try to get up on this thing. Is it moving?
It's going to be a 12.
I would say you're going to need a fair amount of movement. What's your movement?
Let's see. Usually at 30.
Speed.
With Expeditious Retreat, I'm at 60.
Yeah, so I think to like round around it, you're probably going to need that 60 feet. I think for the 12, it's not glorious. You don't like get way up on it, but like you can get to the point of like kind of grabbing onto the tail and hanging on there.
So just kind of very
Being in
quick
that
sandy
area.
kind of coins and just trying to get there as quickly as I can, grab onto the tail, and then go ahead and attack. Chop, chop, chop. First one was, I think, 15.
Miss.
Next one is 28.
Hit.
And 30.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah. So that's
Say hey for fighters.
15 damage for the first one, and also 15 damage for the second one. Arr.
All right, Tiburon got 2 good hits. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes. And I'll hang
All
on
right.
for dear life.
Well, speaking of which, the dragon, since you're there at its tail, is going to take a legendary action and do a tail attack at Tiburon, who just chopped into its tail. So that's going to be a 34 to hit. And
That hits.
it's going to do 19 bludgeoning damage. And I'm going to go and say it probably knocks you back a fair bit. So knocks you back so that you're prone and a little bit a ways away from the tail that you just chopped up.
Oof.
Next up, we have at initiative 20, we have lair actions that happen. Kind of a geyser erupts, and this geyser seems to be made of that kind of like of the fog, but it sort of burst forth kind of in between where most of you are standing. Coins fly everywhere, and the geyser shoots up. Tiburon, we'll say you're clear of this because you ran around the dragon to the back, but everybody else can make a dexterity saving throw.
10.
9.
15.
20.
So Oliver and Randall, you will succeed. So Sarsa and Branch will take 21 necrotic damage. Oliver and Randall, half that, so we'll say 10. So that's the lair action.
So if you brine cucumbers for long enough, they become almost a different texture. It's almost sort of a melding between solids and liquids, you see. But I feel like I've been going on about vegetables and things I like. What about you? I mean, What made you evil? What made you want to, kill a bunch of people and all that stuff? I've never really understood that.
I hadn't quite thought of it that way, but I had a Farah of my own once, and well, I loved her. I guess I know for a fact that I loved her more than anyone in the whole world.
Ah, so you did it for love.
In a manner of speaking, but I mean, vengeance never really fills the void of loss. You know,
This is true.
more than anything, in my mind, was to protect the children, protect our children.
So you had children with this love of yours.
Yes, Therese.
Therese, right.
It's a bit of a long time ago now.
Is
So
she
we had
innocent in all this? Does she know what you've done? Who you really are?
She's not here anymore. Well, back before all of this, back before the turmoil and this platinum syndicate and all of that, I was just I believe you saw my shop, Fletcher's Flurries. I was a craftsman, made arrows and made a fine enough living. We were happy there. Dahlia was older, Thesian had just been born, and we were making our way, but Chancellor Kern, he was the leader of the town then, and he seemed fine enough when he was elected. A bit too comfortable around the waistline, perhaps, than an upstanding public servant might be. I'm not sure he was all the ways on the up and up, but things worked well enough as they always had been, and then he just began to turn. His rule became a lot harsher than it had been, and somebody had to speak up. If no one speaks up when injustices occur, then there's nothing to stop them, yes? And so
Of course.
I found myself speaking up, and he didn't like that, and there was threats. It escalated. I'm a bit of a hard-headed person. I don't respond well to threats and people trying to push me around, tell me what to do, and soon they escalated. They threatened our business. They threatened my family. Well, we ended up, I think you probably met Bavrax and some other friends. We ended up outside of town and as a bit of a resistance movement, but one day there was a raid. I was caught and taken to the public square. He produced this dagger that nobody had ever seen before.
The heart rend.
Yes. Well, you know of the heart rend now and what it is, and but really, Therese, was its first victim.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm not entirely sure that Chancellor Kern even knew what it truly did.
Where do you think he procured this dagger? It seems like he was out of his league.
I really don't know, and it definitely seems like the dagger has quite a power of its own. I think, in this strange place, I feel I'm thinking with a bit more clarity than I had in a long time. Well, I think whoever has that dagger is bound to walk a similar path. I mean, power corrupts certainly on its own, but...
John, may I call you John?
Sure.
Well, the last person that had the dagger was Riggs.
Yes, he stabbed me. I had forgotten that. Yes, clever boy. Impressive.
Does he... Wait, is this like 100 years later? Are we in a weird time thing? I hate time things. I mean, if I get out of this, or if we make things better and work it out and become chums and all that, am I going to go back and everyone is much older and chews with their gums and whatnot? Like, are we able to stop these things?
Well, Not hundreds of years, no. Weird time thing, yes, a bit of that. Let me lay it out for you.
Please.
And that takes us to Randall's turn.
Randall is going to pull out a small figurine carved out of ebony of a little fly. And he's going to take it and he's going to say, okay, it's time to do your thing. And he's going to activate the figurine of wondrous power, the ebony fly. And it's going to turn into a giant housefly under my control. And then Randall is going to jump on its back, gently stroke its back and go, all right, it's time to fly. And they're going to take off. And he's going to position it right over the top of the dragon. Whoa. Hold on there, buddy. Hold on there, Marty. He's going to reach into his bag, and he's going to find his jar of goop that he took from long ago that turns red to blue.
Mm-hmm.
And he's used it only a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's only used a little bit to make things big and small.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna watch. He's gonna watch the timing of it. He's gonna say, "Okay, and he's gonna time it out, and then he's gonna throw it down and time it out so that it's blue when it hits the back of the dragon below.
And blue would be the shrinky side.
Blue would be the shrinky side.
Okay.
And as I recall, it has a long pulsation when
it
it's
was slower when it's bigger. So
yeah,
you're basically like using the whole container. You're shooting your shot with it.
This is it.
Okay, so Marty the giant housefly is in play. We'll say that's a steed that acts on your turn.
Yes.
For future reference, and obeys your commands.
I have their stats.
Deciding if you successfully shrink and don't accidentally grow this gargantuan creature, give me a D20 with advantage.
Okay, this is gonna be a 19.
Oh, baby! All right. So you hit this thing and it kind of like splooshes out over the dragon. For a moment, nothing. Everybody's looking because like they know what you just did. For a moment, nothing. And then it starts to take effect, and it doesn't quite like affect the whole creature all at once because it's so big. So there's sort of a cartoonish like the wings shrink down, but the head is still giant, and then like one arm gets smaller. But at the end of all that, you have reduced this gargantuan creature one size. Now it is merely huge. Which I imagine would be substantially helpful. Oliver, you were clinging onto a gargantuan creature that just shrank out from underneath you. So give me a dex save to stay attached.
Oh, all right. 23.
Good enough. You're still up on it.
I'm still holding on to its neck. Yep.
Yeah, which is a little bit smaller, so you're able to kind of reach more around it, be a little bit secure. And Randall, I'm going to say you're done with your turn because that was an awful lot. Way to go. That brings us to Sarsa.
Woohoo! Sarsa is going to take one look at the beast before them. She's going to shake her head and say, I don't know if we can do this. And she's going to use her only 7th level spell slot. And she's going to close her eyes. Her eyes are going to kind of roll back in her head. And she's going to start kind of glowing pale light blue, and then you see appear not far in front of her a coatl. It looks like a giant snake with wings, almost draconic, and she shouts at it and says, "Protect my friends."
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What spell is that?
That is Conjure Celestial.
Oh my gosh. Nice. Sarsa pulling in the big guns.
Oh, yeah.
Coatl, a medium celestial, armor class 19.
Every time I say it, it makes me think of axolotl.
Does it look like an axolotl?
I think it should look like an axolotl. My daughter's obsessed with axolotls, by the way, so
as she should be.
That would make me very happy. Yeah, we go to the zoo quite a bit. She likes looking at them because they're one of the few things that's right at eye level for her too.
Nice. Yes, it is a massive serpent medium. I mean, it's still small compared to this dragon, but like pretty substantial. You wouldn't want to go up against it. Serpent with giant feathery wings and an adorable axolotl-like face. We are adding into the mix, but it still has all the stats of a coatl.
It's an axolotl.
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 One for Ripley. It has spellcasting. Oh man. Okay, so you can deal with all of that. Want to roll initiative for it? Probably.
That'd just be its dex. Ha! 6.
Ooh, all right. That's not terrible because we're already in the middle of the initiative order, so it'll go this round. All right, Coatl is on the scene, so then we're on to Branch.
Branch also wants to get on this whole conjuring business that everyone else seems to be doing.
Oh man.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Conjure Elemental and bring up an Earth Elemental over by Dragon Guy.
Okay. Earth Elemental appears. Go ahead and roll initiative for that.
14.
So it will be coming up soon as well. Anything else for Branch's turn?
Branch will go ahead and use his bonus action to turn into... What do I want to go with today?
Another Earth Elemental.
I could, actually. But I won't. I am going to go with my old standby of a giant scorpion.
All right. Branch is a giant scorpion. That's your bonus action, right?
Yep.
Spell deployed. Bonus action deployed.
I'm going to try to move away from people so we're not all bunched up. I know a couple people have run towards the Dragoon, and I think Randall's still on a fly, but just a little further away so we're not all right on top of each other.
What's your scorpion's move distance?
40 feet.
Okay. Do you want to use that full movement speed to kind of get away from the crowd, or just a little bit?
Just like half of it. I want to be able to get back and attack the dragon on my turn.
20 feet out, spread out, and that will take us to Cambionatrix. So, suffice it to say, I don't, unfortunately, think that you'll be returning anywhere, at least as things go designed. And again, I apologize for that. It's out of my hands at this point. But the plan is for me to leave and for you to be gone. You see, the spell that you've, by a stroke of bad luck, been subjected to, it uses your soul to anchor my soul to this plane until my soul can be restored to a new vessel. And when that ceremony is complete, which does take some time, not hundreds of years, but weeks, months sometimes, well, that will be the end of you, unfortunately.
Well, I don't necessarily want that to happen. Of course, we're probably, my friends are probably going to try to stop you.
I imagine they are, yes.
Listen, why, if it's your time, I mean, not to seem sentimental, but like, why not just say good game and move on? Like, you had a good run. You did the right thing. You tried to stop a bad guy. I can make sure that your family, your kids are taken care of. What are you going back for? We're just going to tell everybody that you're secretly behind bad things. Or I can say that you were a good person and you passed on and you will live on as a good person in memory.
Well, you see, at this point, it's beyond either of our abilities to make a change here. We're both here sort of waiting for the ritual to complete. And certainly it wouldn't be hard to believe that your friends are out there somewhere fighting for you. And
I would be very surprised if they weren't. Or at least fighting something.
They seem like good people. But the outcome of that at this point, I'm afraid, is not up to you or I.
So, just to be clear, you sacrificed somebody, and it happened to be me. That was random.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In order for you to come back and live on the material plane. Just as sort of like I'm going to do this. It's a spell of some sort. Is that right?
Yes.
What are your plans when you get back? Are you going to go into advertising or summer homes, or like what? Are you going to like rent out the castle? What's your big plan for staying alive?
Well, I had been to return to power, protect the children, and continue on with the ways of the world. But that's certainly one of those things
Stop whoever has the dagger.
Yes, stop whoever has the dagger is what comes to mind now. Perhaps either way, we should put our minds to that.
Your sense of nobility is clouded by your own personal power judgment. I want to sympathize with you, but you're also you're quite misguided, Mr. Fletcher. But I suppose we both think we're right. So, and it sounds like we don't have any control over what happens. One of us is going back. I guess we'll find out who.
Yes, well, I've always tried to be honest and recognize that my actions are certainly not always noble, certainly not always good, but the ones that I've chosen.
Well, I appreciate the chat. That's a welcome change. Usually I have to knock an arrow and shoot it in someone's chest before they tell me anything. And even then, it's a very short conversation.
Well, I believe you did try.
I did try, that's right. Didn't quite go as planned. Under the circumstances, if things were different, I think we could have been good friends.
Well, I think that's certainly true. We certainly have a shared interest in fletchery.
That's true.
And
I like a good fletching.
Much to go on from there. You don't have children, do you, Gravely? Not yet? Maybe one day with Asfera?
No. He kind of like blushes through the green, No. We're not even married. No.
Children, they give you perspective and cloud your judgment all at the same time, and losing them puts a fear greater than anything about losing yourself would. And I don't know. I feel, among so many feelings about the past, so much is complicated. I feel we now know the dagger takes the one you love most, and I feel confident if Therese was the one who was up there on that stage, and I'd be fine. It would be one of our children that we lost, and it's strangely lucky and terrible that my heart pointed towards her, and well, it's a lot to sort out. I'm sure you understand.
I imagine so. And while I don't have children, I know what it's like to love someone, and I do have a family. My adventuring party are the closest people I've ever been to in my life. They trust me. They take care of me. They believe in me when I don't even believe in myself. I'm afraid, if something happened, if I was to be stabbed by this dagger, it would probably be one of them.
Yes. Speaking of your adventuring party, I have to go.
What?
I hope to see you soon.
Wait.
And he heads off.
What? Wait a minute.
So Cambionatrix rears up to its full height, extends its wings. Oliver's clinging to its neck still. Randall's up there buzzing around above it somewhere. And it speaks, or at least you hear words. You hear,
"You must be Gravely's friends. I expected you. I suppose we'll need to do this."
It is going to first use its frightful presence. So everybody needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
18 for Randall.
7 for Tiburon.
23 for Oliver.
11. I think my Colotl, it has a shielded
mind.
Oh, I guess it's only detect emotions, read thoughts, or detect its location. Okay, let me roll for that. Ooh, nat 20 on the Axolotl.
All right.
Its mind is a steel trap.
Branch got a 25. Earth Elemental got a 15.
The wisdom save is high, so Sarsa's 18 actually fails. The Coatl, Oliver, and Branch are clear and unfrightened. Everybody else is frightened for 1 minute. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of a turn to end the effect. Once you end the effect, you cannot be frightened for another 24 hours. Frightened by the same frightful presence for another 24 hours. But the rest of you have the frightened quality, which means you can't advance towards the creature, and disadvantage on some stuff. We should probably look that up. I like the notion that the earth elemental was just summoned, erupted up out of the earth, and immediately is like, what? It is right up against a massive creature that for sure outclasses it. Seems like a very natural reaction that it is quite frightened, but is also right up against it, so it is still in melee range. But in addition to that, it's going to use its breath weapon. It will take aim, a 60-foot cone, probably, well, let's see, I would say Oliver's on its neck. It's not going to be affected by a breath weapon. Although you're going to feel it go through its neck. And so that's going to be a sensation you're not going to forget. Randall up in the sky is probably not hit. And Tiburon around behind is probably not hit. Everybody else is going to get caught in this breath weapon, including the scorpion, including the Coatl. So everybody's going to, all those people are going to make a high dexterity saving throw.
Coatl rolled a 19.
And me. Oh,
Oh,
no.
hi.
Sarsa, 13.
We both rolled almost guaranteed that we'll fail. I rolled, without adding bonuses, it was a 3 and a 4.
Yeah. Everybody will fail that, including the Coatl. This is a very high DC. All of you are going to take 42 points of necrotic damage. Just like absolutely blasted by this necrotic breath that sweeps across the chamber. And now I'm going to roll to see if that ability recharges. And I'm not going to tell you the answer. But that will be the dragon's turn, and that moves us on to the Earth Elemental, who just came into existence, and a lot has happened in its very short life.
Earth Elemental is frightened?
Yes. Can't advance, but it's already in melee range because you conjured it like right up against the dragon.
I'm going to make a couple slam attacks then. Attack number 1 is a 25 to hit.
Hit.
Good. Would have been sad otherwise. That is, it's a 19 bludgeoning damage.
A 19, now that it's a smaller creature, will hit.
And then that's another 15 damage.
All right, we're going to move on to the Coatl. What can this thing do?
Well, in this moment, it's more helpful for protecting our friends. But, so, okay, a little bit of, I don't know if this is metagaming, so you'd have to tell me, Zach.
Mhm.
But, like, this thing has all languages. It's also, I believe, like, kind of draconic-ish in ancestry, but I'll let you make that decision.
It's technically a celestial, but it's dragon-shaped. Go on.
I mean, you know, they all look the same to me.
Where are you headed?
So, like, could it feasibly reach into... Well, you know what? I want it to cast Detect Thoughts on the dragon.
Okay.
In the... Because it's strictly playing defense right now. And I want it to try to detect thoughts on who... Maybe any ulterior motivations for this dragon, but also, like, what is the dragon doing next? What's top of mind for this? That's what I want to do.
Okay. Detect thoughts. Oh, it's a wisdom save. Not good. Dragon failed that wisdom save. Interestingly, I would have thought, well, dragons are more wise.
It's basically what is most on its mind in the moment.
So we'll just say, like, the Coatl's kind of actions can channel into you, so you know it. It doesn't have to, like, report out.
It does have telepathy.
Yeah, so, I mean, you get the sense of you, Sarsa, recognize the kind of, like, presence of John Fletcher, the person you fought when you lost Gravely, the person who you met earlier in that and is the father of Lady Dahlia and little Thesian, who's the first person you saw him with. So John Fletcher, who you've interacted with a lot, was defeated. Like, this is definitely him in the kind of like body of this dead necrotic dragon, and your sense of him is like resigned to doing everything he can to destroy you and win this fight, but also kind of like a sadness about it, like a regret, and that's what you get.
All right. And so we're playing that the Axacoatl can relay all of that to me.
Yeah, you Sarsa get all that.
Okay, I don't think she's sure what to do with that yet, but the Axacoatl will position itself between the dragon and Sarsa just to make sure that she is protected at this point.
So that's the Quaddle's turn. That's going to bring us to another legendary action for the dragon. It's going to extend its wings and beat its wings back and forth. It's going to start to lift off and also generate a lot of wind. So I will say Scorpion Branch is just out of this radius, and everybody else is going to make a... Actually, I'll excuse Randall from this too. So Scorpion Branch and Randall out of range. Everybody else make another dexterity saving throw.
21 for Sarsa. We can add bonuses on this, yeah?
13 for the elemental.
6 for Tiburon.
And 23 for the Axacoatl.
Okay.
17 for Oliver.
So Axacoatl succeeds.
Jeez.
Everybody else is going to take 15 bludgeoning damage and be thrown back and knocked prone. Thrown back 10 feet, we'll say. Tiburon's kind of like pushed 10 feet.
So Oliver gets knocked off the neck.
Yeah, I would say Oliver doesn't hang on, so he's sent flying. As the dragon is lifting off, so if you want, I'd say you're falling now as the dragon is rising up. Do you want to try to grab onto something on the way down, or just kind of like land on your feet?
I'll fall, but I will take an opportunity attack if you allow it. Like as I'm
Sure.
Because I got a pole arm,
Yeah,
so I'm
for
just gonna whip around and kind of smack, and then because I haven't used my reaction this turn, so.
Yeah, for sure. So you're falling off the neck as it's rising, but you're going past its kind of like front arm, so you can take a swipe at it for sure.
24.
Hit.
20 bludgeoning damage.
All right.
And then I'll just kick in slow fall. Well, actually, I can't do slow fall because opportunity attack was my reaction, so slow fall is a reaction, so I will just fall and try to land the best I can.
Yeah, do another dex check for landing.
Okay.
A lot of dex checks.
I got a pretty good dex, though. 17.
All right, that'll do it. You're able to fall, swipe, do damage, tuck and roll, and land pretty gloriously on your feet below as this dragon rises up. So you don't end up actually knocked prone like everybody else does. Just takes half your movement to get up. Kawada was fine. Randall's fine. Scorpion Branch was fine. Everybody else took their 15 damage and is prone, and that will move us back to top of the order, Oliver.
How much out of range is it right now with like flying up in the air?
About, we'll say it's 30 feet up.
And Randall's flying on a fly?
Yes. Giant ebony fly.
Would I know, maybe we've talked about this, like if he flew down and picked me up, could he like get me up there?
Probably.
So what I'd like to do is hold an action to attack when he I'm just gonna like and just kind of like wait for the zoom, like fly by and be like, Randall, fly by. We discussed this. We've never actually practiced it.
Many Monty Python jokes about weight ratios and airspeed velocities of
but it's a giant fly.
It seems like this should work.
Yes.
All right, so holding an action to get picked up, that brings us to Tiburon.
All right, I'm prone and frightened. Probably the first thing I got to do is wisdom check for frightened?
Yeah, redo the wisdom. Oh, we should have done that for other people that were... Well, it would just be the Earth Elemental and the Kowato, who I think was not frightened. So, Branch, if you can roll a wisdom save for the Earth Elemental, and Tiburon roll a wisdom save to be unfrightened.
Will do.
It most definitely failed. I rolled a 2.
Okay, very frightening.
17.
Does not do it.
Oof.
Very high. Wisdom saving throw.
All right. Well, still scared. I guess going from prone to standing isn't technically getting closer to the dragon, right?
It is not. You're good. You can use half your movement to do that.
All right. I do that. I guess I take a look around to kind of, since I can't go and attack the dragon because I'm terrified right now, kind of take a look around and see if I can do some supporting to whoever's nearest by.
You suddenly have a clear view of everybody. The picture of that has substantially changed since you ran around the dragon, because now there's a giant scorpion that you're probably able to deduce is Branch, an earth elemental that you've also probably can deduce is at Branch's control. It looks super freaked out. The Coatl is up there. You've never seen that. And your friends are all kind of like splayed out. Oliver's on his feet looking majestic and also gesturing towards the giant fly in the sky. You could throw something because that's not getting closer to it.
Fair enough.
Or you could cast or do something else with him. Throw or shoot or whatever.
Let me get a shot at, does Chromatic Orb, is there like a holy version of it? I don't think so, right?
It doesn't do holy damage, no.
Okay, it's acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder. Okay, probably, let me try and toss a Chromatic Orb at the big flying dragon. Let's make it lightning. Flying types are weak against electric types.
I'm sure that logic holds.
Yeah.
It's universal.
I'm pretty sure it's a dragon.
Pokemon got it from the original lore.
That's right. Oh, Matt's right, though. Dragon types are immune to, like, lightning. Whatever.
What was your spell attack for that?
A pretty terrible 8.
Oh no.
Go wide.
Yeah, not gonna hit. So probably like it just sort of like it's in the air, kind of flapping around. So your targeting isn't great, and you're kind of trembling because you're pretty freaked out. So I think the ball of electricity just sort of zips past it.
Curse my fearful bones.
Anything else from Tiburon?
We'll leave it at that for now.
We are back to initiative 20, so we're going to do another lair action.
Let's go.
And what happens is the fog all around you starts to surge forward and like kind of climb uphill towards where you are very quickly. And so everybody on the ground is overtaken by this fog pretty quickly. And all of you have the sense. So the Coatl will be clear because it's a flying creature. Randall is still clear up on his fly, but you're watching this kind of scary side of the fog surges forward and kind of overtakes everybody. And everybody has the sense of many tiny clawed hands grabbing at you and trying to pull you back. Let's have everybody roll a Constitution save.
My Coatl has a 10.
Coatl's clear.
I have a 13.
Oliver got 24.
Okay.
16 for Tiburon.
19 for Scorpion Branch, and really low for Earth Elemental.
So this fog surges over everybody and momentarily covers up everyone that's on the ground. What did the Earth Elemental have?
Like a 4.
Okay. For the
Actually,
for the con save?
With con, it would be slightly higher than 4. Oh, it's a 9 because I have really high Constitution.
So the fog just like rolls up and envelops everybody, and all of you have this sense of tiny clawed hands trying to pull you back. And then the fog recedes, and when it does that, the Earth Elemental and Sarsa are not there.
What?